Call this meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order. Would you please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Alderman Davidson.
Present.
Alderman Franklin.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Dorhoff.
Present.
Alderman Fouch.
Present.
Alderman Cheney, Mills, and Milner are excused. Mayor Zering.
All right, President, thank you. We have a quorum. First up, we got some ceremonial matters. Grant and Mr. Carver, I'll have you all come up front here. Yeah, hey, the microphones aren't on. Executive session right after this meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Right after this meeting?
Mic check.
You go over here. This is to pull you for the work session.
Well, for 30 years, man, I want to give this to Grant here. Grant probably doesn't know more about it than I do, but all I know is 30 years. I know what it is for 30 years. Yeah, and we appreciate you for sure. That is, thank you. All right. Have no public participation. Next, we're going to do the approval of the minutes for the Board of Aldermen regular meeting, June 3rd, 2024. And that was in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Alderman Turner with a second from Alderman Franklin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those stand as written. Next, we have the approval of minutes for the Board of Aldermen work session, June 3rd, 2024.
The motion to approve. Second.
Motion from Alderman Dorhoff with a second from Alderman Fouch. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and those stand. First up on our agenda items, we have the second reading for Council Bill 32.
Council Bill 32, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, providing for the extension of the city limits by annexing approximately 3 acres of adjacent territory owned by 21500 Property Investments, LLC, located at 21500 East 275th Street into the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, establishing the zoning as C-2 Service Business District, and establishing an effective date.
Christina?
Very quick. We haven't had any comments or phone calls or emails on this annexation, so it's been pretty straightforward. Take any questions.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Christine.
I move to approve. Second.
Motion from Alderman Fouch with a second from Alderman Davidson. Roll call, please.
Alderman Fouch.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff.
Aye.
Alderman Franklin.
Aye.
Alderman Cheney, Mills, and Milner are excused.
All right, thank you. Council Bill 32 is now Ordinance 3694. Next up, we have an administrative ordinance, Council Bill 33.
Council Bill 33, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative cost-sharing agreement with Cass County for installation of the road repairs to South Brick Plant Road from East 267th Street to East 275th Street and East 275th Street from South Brick Plant Road to South Brookhart Drive, project for the City of Harrisonville, Missouri.
And you're up, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen. I bring an ordinance to you tonight for some road improvements with a cost share agreement with Cass County. And these road improvements, yes, they are in Cass County, but they pertain to our South Sanitary Service Project. And as you recall, initially we went down basically the center line of the road because we knew we really didn't want to be in the front yards of homeowners that weren't going to receive any benefit from this project, and only 2 of the residents that live along these 2 roads actually says, yes, I want to be a part of this project. But everybody else, they said, that's why we live in the county. We don't want to be bothered. But as you might recall, their property line goes to the center line of the road. So even though we're under road pavement and technically in a right-of-way, Cass County right-of-way, we're still on their property. But originally, the city was going to take the street crew and we were going to chip seal this road back to its original condition. Well, we had some staff changeovers in the last year or so, and the current street superintendent said, yeah, we can do that, but I really don't want to do that because we're shorthanded as we are. And the city administrator and I proposed to the Cass County commissioners last January, we thought it'd be a great idea if they took those 2 streets, South Brick Plant Road and East 275th Street, and just milled them down and put 2 inches of nice new asphalt on top. But that was a little more expensive than the Cass County commissioners wanted to spend on those 2 roads. So we thought that we would be spending anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000 for our chip and seal to fill in the holes that the contractor dug, to make the horizontal directionally drilled, and there were places they had to open cut the street because it was rock underneath and they couldn't bore through it. But the county came to us and said, what we'd like to do is what they call it a double chip and seal, and the county's going to do the entire road surface from edge to edge, from the beginning of our project all the way through to the end of our project. But they're going to do it the full width, as opposed to where we were only going to do half the road because that's where we worked. So the county came up with an amount of $78,552.15. And one of the advantages that we, city staff, feel like this is great for the city is because when the county gets done with the road improvements and there's problems with the road pavement, the Cass County residents don't call us, call Cass County Bridge and Road. So, with all that, I'd like to recommend approval of this ordinance, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
What's the timetable on this?
They kind of sped this up on us. Originally, when I talked to Cass County Road and Bridge, they were going to do it mid to late August. But a week ago today, Cass County showed up and started dumping gravel on South Brick Plant Road and East 275th Street. So they asked us later in the week, could we hurry up and finish and be out underneath road pavement? That meant finishing up with our 5 air release valve bulbs that we have in the road and making the 2 connections to the force main to whereas we could at least get the pipe out beneath the road, past the ditch, to where Cass County could do whatever they needed to do, and we would no longer be in their way. So they're working on it right now. Cass County Road and Bridges.
So, our cost is half of that, or is that
Our cost is the $75,000.
$78,000?
$78,552.15, and that is well within our project budget.
That's what I was gonna ask. So,
Hey, Alderman, can you pull your microphone over? Thanks. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that. So we've got it budgeted, that amount?
It was part of the project cost.
Okay.
But was it specific line item? Like I said, we had estimated $15,000 to $25,000 to do what
Just
we
the
thought
material.
we could
Right.
fix the road.
But now
to
it's
put
what,
it back.
70,000 or 78,000?
It's $78,552.15
So that extra 55,000,
is being absorbed by the project.
okay.
And if you recall, this project was paid for by the COP funds. And if I've been throwing out a wrong number, I apologize.
So, can you
When we went back and estimated how much it was going to cost, they originally figured $20,000. After them digging the additional holes, we can't repair it for the $78,000. Our repairs would be higher than that.
You answered the question.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's not what JC told me.
They're gonna put back to them how they want, so they're responsible for it.
Any other
At
questions?
least we don't have to go back and repatch.
Yep.
I have a
said-
question. And so the time frame again, I'm sorry, you were talking.
Well,
about-
they started
Still
last
started.
week with bringing in the rock, and they asked us later in the week, last week, if we could hurry up and finish our work, the contractor's work, from width of the road to width of the road, because they want to move in and be done with it. Whereas when I initially talked with the new road superintendent there at Cass County Bridge, he said mid to late August, but, and
They're way
a couple
ahead.
of the
So they're looking-
residents have already called and said, we hope this is not going to be the finished product, you know, with the gravel being dropped out, because that's not the condition of the road.
Yeah.
I mean, initially, it was chip and seal before, but not much better than that.
So a completion date sometime in August then?
Oh, no,
No.
they'll probably be done by the end of June.
Oh, into June?
Yeah,
In a couple of weeks.
yeah.
Barring any storms, any rain,
Yeah.
they should be done.
This was the first reading of an administrative ordinance, so, yeah.
Want to suspend the
Yeah.
rules?
Mhm.
I make a motion we should suspend the rules and move Council Bill 33 to second reading.
All right, got a motion from Alderman Turner to suspend rules on Council Bill 33 and move it to a second reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Franklin. Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin,
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson,
Aye.
Alderman Fouch,
Aye.
Alderman Cheney, Mills, and Milner are excused.
Okay. Council Bill 33.
Council Bill 33, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative cost-sharing agreement with Cass County for installation of the road repairs to South Brick Plant Road from East 267th Street to East 275th Street and East 275th Street from South Brick Plant Road to South Brookhart Drive, project for the City of Harrisonville, Missouri.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin,
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson,
Aye.
Alderman Fouch,
Aye.
Alderman Cheney, Mills, and Milner are excused.
All right, thank you. Council Bill 33 is now ordinance 3695. Next up, we have the first reading of Council Bill 34.
Council Bill 34, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville establishing streets to have no parking designation.
All right, Patty.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. I'm Patty Hildebrand, Director of Public Works. This ordinance comes directly out of our work session. Oh, thank you. Comes directly out of our work session 2 weeks ago, where we reviewed the proposed 10 locations for proposed no parking signs, as well as no parking on all of the existing emergency snow routes. We have about 4.9 miles in Harrisonville that are where our roads are less than 20 feet. So, we've got a lot that we can look at. The majority of our system is less than 30 feet, which, isn't bad. But when I find out I have one that's 8 foot wide, we'll be dealing with that one at some point, but not at this point. So we considered, in making our recommendation, complaints that we had received, most of which are verbal. We don't really get a documented see-click fix or anything like that. It's people calling and complaining. Information that we received from fire and police, letting us know that they're having difficulties getting to either the hydrants or getting through the road itself. We've gotten calls from the bus company letting us know that the buses are having a hard time getting through. And then, of course, our trucks as well getting through to plow for snow. So the 10 that we've brought to you tonight, we've broken them up by district to make it easy, are our recommendations and are based on the conversation that we had 2 weeks ago in work session. Be open to any questions.
Patty, the King Avenue, is that a snow route?
Yes, it is.
And that's why
That's why it's both sides.
both sides?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Speaking of number 3, the restricting on the east side of Silver Maple and Younger, I would recommend that in the interim that we not do that, that we amend that and just say on the south side of Silver Maple at the north edge, the curve, okay, only on the south side there, there's no houses facing that. And then restriction within so many feet of each one of those curves. More importantly, that is only specifically for emergency personnel to be able to make the curves. So I think I'd like to start there rather than restricting that entire area. See if that works, and if it doesn't, then we can address it at a later time. But I would like to amend that to where it's, I don't know how we're going to word it, but the south side of Silver Maple, if that is the top part of Silver Maple, or top part, the south side from in between each curve, and then maybe 150 feet on the east side of Silver Maple, the west side of Younger, down that way, so that way we have access for emergency personnel.
That'll work.
Yeah, it'd be the east. Yeah, the east of Silver Maple.
Patty, how does it work now for parking in front of hydrants?
Well, parking in front of hydrants is already illegal, and hopefully folks know that, so they could absolutely be ticketed for parking in front of hydrants. So if fire has a problem, you've seen the movies where they go, well, this will be fun, and right through the window, that's certainly a possibility. So we don't necessarily go out and paint in front of every hydrant and all that, but it is illegal to park in front of hydrants. And so when we made recommendations, that is one of the things that we looked at, was which side the fire hydrants were on, to make that the no parking side, so it would make it easier for the fire department.
I think it sounds like a pretty good compromise to start with and see how that works.
Absolutely.
Because I know when I drove it, that was my biggest concern, were fire trucks trying to make that radius turn around there.
The inside curve, the horseshoe.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'll also look at the distance from the stop signs as you go into that neighborhood. So making sure that the fire department can make the curve to get onto Younger and get onto Silver Maple.
So like
And
100
include
feet.
school buses as well.
Right, so anything,
Distance,
snow
side
plows,
distance.
everything. So I'll look at that entry distance and probably push the parking back 100, 150 feet. And then we'll do the same thing at the curve.
Okay.
And we're pretty much, I mean, from the work session, we're pretty much doing that with all of these to
Yes.
make sure. That's really the concern, is the safety of being able to get emergency vehicles in there and
Absolutely.
bigger school bus routes and those types of things. So, perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, we appreciate all your work on that and appreciate all the aldermen's involvement with this as
Thanks,
well. So, we'll bring that back July 1st for a second reading.
And we'll change the
Does it
wording.
need to be amended
Yeah,
now?
and we're going to get that amended in there before then, yeah.
They'll bring back.
We'll bring back it as amended.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, that's all we have on the agenda. Let's go with the alderman and committee reports. We will start with Alderman Franklin.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to talk about snow cone with the cop. David Dorhoff and I went around and introduced ourselves to some of the police officers that evening. And it was nice. There was a nice crowd. It was warm, but they were all very friendly, very outgoing, talkative, had nothing but good things to say about the police department and Lieutenant Harris and the good job that she's done. So it was just nice to be able to get out and talk with them for a while. I also wanted to bring up the Ville is still participating in the June month fundraiser for the Has Friends organization. They are still taking donations. The first $100 donation that is made, Camp Vet has donated a complete day, a free day, doggy care and shampoos and blow drying and nail trimming and the like. So you still have an opportunity to take advantage of that. I also wanted to commend the electric department. We had had a line down on Mechanic in Oakland, which everybody thought was an electrical line, which it was not. It was a phone line. And so the electrical department got in touch with Brightspeed on 2 or 3 occasions, and they finally, last Friday, got a new pole up, and the line brought up to its proper height. So kudos to the electric department for keeping on tabs on that. And I also wanted to congratulate Brian Kincaid of the police department for being promoted to lieutenant. We had spoken with him several times that night at the snow cone with the cop, and I had seen him at a couple of other functions that week. So it was really nice to see him get. So why are you doing that?
I'll explain in a minute.
Okay.
Nothing bad.
And let's see, the memberships out at the park board, we're still doing good with the memberships out there. Pool is doing good. Everything's running smoothly, knock on wood somewhere. And Grant is a happy camper. That's doing good, and that's all I have right now.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it. All right.
She is so
Davidson.
thorough.
I know.
That was the only thing I had.
She shames the rest of you,
That was
doesn't
the only
she?
thing I had.
Yep.
And so I'm going to say it again, though. I want to commend and congratulate Officer Kincaid, Lieutenant Kincaid. I think he's very well deserving of the promotion, and obviously we need the assistance and staff anyway. So, but I'm excited to see him in staff and working with Chief Harris. So.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
what I was laughing at. You stole my thunder.
Alderman Turner.
Also, just looking with the coppers, I attended, and I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of the community, some of our police forces there. I mean, Chief Harris and a lot of the other police. I seen Trooper Bell from Highway Patrol. It was nice to see Highway Patrol there. Didn't see any Cass County sheriffs. They weren't there at all.
It's because they're out chasing cars, man.
Yeah. But that was a good event, brought a lot of people in. Also, almost a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to host the Elected Officials Conference. Met a lot of newly elected officials, about 160. So, I mean, hopefully we'll get some stuff done throughout the state. And then last week, I was in Rancho Cordova, California, for the NLC's Summer Leadership Conference. So maybe get some new policies for our U.S. Congress. Maybe get them on track. But that was about it. So.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Alderman Fouch.
Let's see, the Chamber Foundation is holding a fundraising event Thursday night, a wine crawl. If you're into that, come over and buy a ticket and go around to the different businesses. Is that this Thursday?
Yes.
This Thursday, yeah. And then last week, the redevelopment board, the 353 redevelopment board, approved its first application for a residential.
In all the cities and the counties, and then they had to be on a approved aligned road for their network, and so that's why it went there. So that was the whole criteria for it to go in there. And I think it was like $56,000 was our cut. So that's $56,000.
Our goal is to do the other section of this next year.
Right. And then on the south area sanitary sewer project, all of the 11 manholes passed the vacuum test, so we're getting closer and closer to getting that project buttoned up. And then the Oakville sanitary sewer project was forwarded a contract to Powers Trenching and Excavating to get that project completed. The curb and gutter and the overlay were advertised in May, and June 18th, tomorrow, will be the bids coming in for that. The South Commercial Extension Project, we're still working with the engineers and the folks involved with that. Evergy has had some not wanting to move that pole that we all discussed before, so we're having to do some different alignments along there. The Royal Street Extension Project, June 28th is when the final 2 teams will be turning in for their design and construction. So we're hopefully, I would think in July, that first week of July, getting the selection of who will win that bid. One of the things to point out, because we discuss this all the time, we're still trying to tell everybody the plan is to hopefully get the street done by October, November of next year, and that we're playing with the ball fields in March of 2026. And doing that, even with the design, when we get the final selection of the team, then we'll probably be bringing them here for you all to see what we're coming up with final design-wise and everything. Because, we got to do things within the limited funds that we have to be able to do that project. But, again, that's funded through the governor's cost share and then the businesses of the TDD that are paying for that project. In addition, Patty's in discussions with MoDOT to adding cost share funds to that project as well, which gives us some better opportunity and flexibility to get that accomplished. Then the Ash Street and Bridge Town Creek Storm, I say that 7 times. We're moving forward with that on the designs with the 3 alternatives, and the reason we're doing the alternatives is concerned with construction costs to make sure that we stay within the grant budget on that project. And then I wanted to mention, Alderman Franklin talked about the phone line that was hanging down that everybody on Facebook thought was a power line, and that the city didn't care about anyone dying or that anyone could get killed. You can't make this junk up. If there was a power line laying down like that, of course our crews would have been right on that. And additionally, we couldn't get the pole in until we got some reassurances that that company was going to get there to put the line up, so provide suitable facilities for the fire crew. The Parks and Recreational Department are finishing up with the Shelter 2 improvements, and then the Service Leadership Project with the new fishing dock out there off of Luna. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I've got.
All right, thank you, sir. Your municipal court report for May is in your packets there. Questions from the media? Nothing, sir. Thank you very much. A couple things I just wanted to hit on. I know Alderman Cheney's not here, but I'm sure he would have talked about the fishing derby. I don't know if anybody here, or Grant, you probably know how well that turned out, right? Can you give us just a little bit on that? And the Elks Club put that on, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And so they estimated they had about 300 to 400 participants that day.
Okay.
So it was a really good turnout.
I know there was a lot going on in the park that day.
It
They had a
was-
walk
it was
going on
busy that
too,
day.
and it was busy. So, yep, it's amazing how much our park is used now. I was out there for they had a gymnastics thing for the kids on Saturday, I think it was, and I was amazed at the number of people out for that.
This
So,
Saturday, church.
yeah, I was going to bring that up too. What's that?
To add to that,
Yep.
Grant had a company that's presenting to the city about statistical information that if we would buy into this program, and what it does, it tracks people to different areas of the community. And one of the areas that they showed Grant was the trail, mega trail, and last year it was over 24,000 people used that mega trail alone.
Wow.
And the majority of them were not Harrisonville residents.
Okay. You go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, 13, I think it was like 13.8 thousand or 13,000 were from out of town.
Wow.
That were using the Omega Trails. So
Wow.
How do they capture that information?
they do it based on cell phones.
GPS.
Cell phones.
So
They're tracking you everywhere you go.
Geofencing.
Yep. Yeah,
Fencing.
geofencing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. No,